My name is Pedro Silva from the Diocese of Charleston. I'm a seminarian. Mom and dad from Brazil, was born in Brazil, moved around a lot, moved to different countries. We grew up in a very Catholic home. Mom and dad grew up in the Charismatic movement. So the night before we moved to the United States, I'll say that was a very important moment within my spirituality, because the Charismatic movement the whole time, it was forming me. But that moment was the culmination. A lot of great priests that I saw before in their passionate preaching, in the way that they were with the people, that really moved me and stirred something in me. And that night it culminated to the point that as they were praying for me, I just started crying uncontrollably. My aunt just wrapped her arms around me, and then I just was slain in the spirit. And I don't know, I was 9 years old. I didn't know what was going on. But I knew after prayer that was the beginning moment of God saying I want you to go to the United States. Moved to the United States, had some trouble in the beginning, but really came to my own. I really love football. I played all the sports, but I'm a rebel. There's a rebel nature in me. And my mom and dad saw this coming, and it was I gotta nip this at the bud. So they kind of kicked my butt into a bus to go to Steubenville. They introduced me to Miss Marianne. Went on this bus, and the whole weekend it was kind of weird to me. I saw a bunch of these Jesus freaks, and I'm dude, these kids are losers. But towards the end, I was so open to the Holy Spirit, especially through Adoration, that I felt God stirring something in me. And it culminated when they did the altar call. At that altar call, they were if you were discerning the vocation to the priesthood, we want you to come up so we can pray for you. And I was there's no way. There's no way. But God just threw a lasso around me and just made my feet move, and I went up. And that was the beginning. I went to high school, and high school was very awesome. First 2 years, all about Jesus. Second 2 years, I veered away and I lived a life in the world, and it was miserable. But I felt like I was free. And when I went to college, it began to kind of stir something in me that there was something wrong with the way that I was living. And thankfully, by the end of it, I knew I had to leave. My dad came to my room and picked me up, and I was Dad, I need to go home. My dad just wrapped his arms around me, and he was you always have a room at my house. And I went home, met this beautiful Catholic girl, half Italian, half Puerto Rican, beautiful, had this job at the Boys and Girls Club. And within this beautiful relationship and within this awesome job working with kids, I was able to see what God was truly calling me to. And that was to a life of ministry and to a life of self-giving. And then I had this moment where I felt there was something missing in my life, and it was the Lord. My grandma came home, and she was Pedro, what is wrong with you? Because there was a lot of things going on with me. So they took me to this charismatic movement, Pentecost retreat, and there I was able to experience the Lord through adoration, but also through the fire of the Holy Spirit. And something convicted me to change my life. I took away everything out of my room, and I just started living for the Lord in that moment. After that, I went to the Salesians. After the Salesians, I went back to Seton Hall to study. And then I got this awesome job working as a youth minister, where I asked my priest if he could give me a job cleaning the parish. And he gave me the job. He called me a couple days later. He's how would you like to be the youth minister? And in this job, I noticed something. As much as my life was completely beautiful in serving these kids and serving these families, I wanted more. I felt this amazing, most beautiful scream cry coming from the altar at every Mass, that the Lord wanted me to be there. But that rebel in me was just denying his phone calls and sending him to voicemail. But as I moved in my ministry, I saw that my ministry just wasn't fulfilling if I was not following his will, which had brought me to be here. That God, after all this time, was constantly pursuing me to be his priest. These hands which committed so many crimes, which hurt so many people, will one day be hands of pardoning and the giving of the bread of his true flesh and true blood to all of his people.